deep inside all of us, we have an inner compass, a GPS, our intuition. And that is what we are ultimately supposed to be listening to above all of this other noise. Like, we are here to bring our specific stamp to the world, not to be a sound-alike for somebody else, not to just mimic what everybody else before you has done, because that's the way it's always been done. And you don't really know why, but some guy somewhere said that this is how we do it. We're supposed to listen to that inner GPS.
Welcome to another installment of Jantmor Interviews. I'm your host, Josh, aka Jantmor, and today I'll be speaking with one of the best in the entertainment industry. You can hear them as the voice of Sindel in Mortal Kombat 11, Storm in Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, Shoola and Jules in Arcane, Everleen in League of Legends, Meg Roberg in Fallout 76, Ikora in Destiny 2, Christine and Anna in the Walking Dead video game, Zeyna in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, Dr. Sloan, Ice Queen, and Luna in Fortnite, Lisa and Jensen Impact, and has an extensive resume in animation and video games. On top of that, you can hear her as the first female narrator for E! News' True Hollywood Story in 2019, dubbed the voiceover shapeshifter due to her impeccable vocal versatility. I can't speak today. Please help me welcome actor, narrator, and former DJ, Mara Junot.
That was one heck of an introduction.
Thank you. Can you see me? Do I look good? Everything good?
You look fantastic. Yes, we got it working.
Thank goodness. Guys, the streamer I was not doing it, man. It was not working. Literally trying to avoid doing this here, but Instagram was like, nah, you coming back. Come back. But Meredith, I just want to say that, this is an absolute honor and a privilege to be speaking to you today. I'm such a huge fan of your work and a lot of the roles you've done. I'm just so impressed by your vocal versatility and just what you do and just your whole process of doing this whole job. So super honored to be speaking to you today, and thank you for giving me so much of your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before we get started, I promised him I would say this, but Bruce Thomas says hello, sends you the best, and says you're one of the best he's ever worked with. So I had to give him a shout out for you right there.
Oh, much love. Thank you so much.
I could tell me to get compliments like that. You just kind of like, you don't know, you just kind of like.
I don't know what to do with it. I'm so grateful. I still pinch myself every day that I get to do this job. So to get compliments like that, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just so overwhelmed. Thank you.
Completely understand that. But, my first question to you is one thing I love about doing these is getting to know the artist behind the art. And my first question to you is, what is one childhood memory you would say defines your childhood and you as a person now?
Ooh, that's deep. Defines my childhood and me as a person now. I guess one thing that comes to mind is my mom. When I was a little kid, she had this vision of me. She said she had this dream, and she pictured that I was like at a podium speaking to like thousands of people. And she didn't know what it meant, but she just saw me like doing some sort of important work and like talking to lots of people at once. So I'm sure she couldn't envision me doing what I'm doing today. But ironically, it turns out that now I talk for a living and my voice is broadcast to thousands of people on a daily basis. So it's kind of weird. So I would say maybe that. Like, she just said she always knew that I would like speak to people on a broad scale. So, and I remember a psychic one time when I was probably, oh my God, I must have been like 17. A psychic did like my palm reading and said the same thing. Said like your name is going to be known and you're gonna speak it to and reach a lot of people. So I'm guessing that's what I'm doing now. But who knows? Maybe something else bigger than I imagine can occur. Anything is possible.
Oh, absolutely. There's one thing that life has taught any of us through these couple of years, is that anything could happen.
Anything is possible. Yes.
Jeez. Yeah, that's really cool that you've had that vision. You know, it's crazy when you look back and are able to look back on past stories or past things that you've been told, and to look where you're at now and just be like, damn, I guess it did happen, or I guess it did come true in a way. Because, you know,
right.
When I was younger, I used to want to be the president of the United States. Of course, I don't want to do that anymore. No. Absolutely.
It's a tough job, and the world is crazy. Yeah, I don't blame you.
But, you know, just doing this and just speaking the way I do and learning the tricks of the trade to do great shows like this and be able to speak to talent such as yourself, I guess in a way is kind of like where I'm at now, which is really cool to look
I love it.
Yeah. I was researching you and looking at past interviews, and you said that, you know, as a kid that you've always loved acting and playing make-believe. And, you know, I'm just more curious if you could dive deeper into that for the audience. You know, in what ways did the acting bug manifest its way into your life early on?
I remember, I think the first time I realized that I liked acting or that I could do this, I think I was in, it might have been 5th or 6th grade. And I remember that we had to do a play, and I think my character's name was Pam. And she was like a valley girl from, like, you know, California or whatever, ironically. And she didn't have many lines, but I remember like one of the lines she had, like, she was snapping gum and she would like twist her hair, and it was like, totally. And in between getting assigned my role as Pam and actually us finally going on stage, I wound up getting my hair cut. So my hair, at the time I auditioned, it was like shoulder length, but when we had to do the actual stage play, it was pretty short. It was like, you know, like less than a bob. It was like to my ears. And so I remember being on stage, and my line came up, and I was just like, totally. And I had no hair to curl, and I'm like curling it and everything. And like the audience just loved it. And I was just like, this is kind of cool. You know, and I think something maybe started to click there. That's the first memory I have of kind of being exposed to the public. That was fun.
I'm sort of the same way. You know, I've always been interested in acting and musicals because, you know, when I lived in New York, I would always do musicals and plays, and I was into tap dancing, huge into tap dancing. I remember one story I could tell was I wasn't feeling too great, and my mom was like, do you wanna stay home? I said, no, we're going to this concert because it's a big concert. I tap danced my heart out. Still was not feeling that great, but I still tap danced, and that is the lesson to keep on keeping on and keep the show going, even if you're feeling sick. But, you know, it's really cool to know that we both come from sort of just coming on stage and playing when we were younger, and just getting that feeling when people, like, at the end they're like shouting, go hard, like clapping, and they're just into it. Oh, I love that. That's a great feeling to receive.
There's nothing like it. Yeah, there's nothing like entertaining a crowd and getting that feedback. So yeah, and I didn't think I'd be able to do it for a living, but here we are.
And it's been an amazing career of here, and that's going to lead into my next question. You know, you have such an extensive resume, you know, extending from animation to video games to narration to, even like I said in the beginning, a former radio DJ. You know, you've done so much that's helped influence a lot of your entertainment career. If you had to describe your acting journey in 2 words to where you are now, what would they be and why?
I would say passionate and obsessed. I don't know. Like when I do something, I go all in. You know, like when I was a radio DJ, I was all in, and I very quickly got promoted to 3 radio stations, to where I started off as a midday country music DJ. Unbeknownst to me, I thought I was applying to be a rock DJ, but I started off as a country DJ. Then I got promoted to be a morning show co-host on a rock show. And then I got promoted again so I was working 3 DJ jobs a day for a while. And then I kind of was over radio. Like, there's only so much you can grow in that business. And, you know, it was, at the time, I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world, but I didn't know where else I could go from there. And so when I did find voiceover and realized that I could act and kind of drive my own career and be an entrepreneur, I went all in. I mean, I went all in. Like, I would study obsessively, just learning about the business. I'm a bit OCD. Like, once I latch onto something, if you can keep, I'm also ADHD, so if you can keep my attention long enough, it's a weird combination. But I was so like, when I decided I was going to go for this, because, at the time radio was like the coolest thing that I had done. And so this was the next coolest. So I was like, if I have a shot at doing this, I got to give it 1,000%. And so, yeah, I just started obsessively going to, research, what are all the top agencies in the world, and what do their top talent sound like, and what do their demos sound like, and what's a promo, what's animation, what's a cartoon, what's whatever. Like, I'm just like digging into everything I could possibly do. I mean, I was listening to podcasts, in the shower. I just like, so yeah, I would say passionately obsessive, and it's paid off. Clearly. It took a long time, but it's paid off.
For something as big as the entertainment industry or diving into acting and stuff like that, you have to have a passion for it and an obsession about it, because there's a lot of uphill battles. There's a lot of auditioning. There's a lot of getting told no. There's a lot of resilience that comes with this as well. You have to be able to take that no, or to be able to be like, oh, dang, I didn't get that job. I really wanted it, but damn, and just taking that and walking off with it and getting ready and prepared to do what's next, and getting ready for your next role and getting ready for your next audition. You have to be passionate. You have to be obsessive. You have to be like, nah, I'm doing this. F the nose to all you naysayers. When you see me on a Disney movie, remember you told me no.
That's right.
Remember that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I remember it was, I don't know how many years in when I decided to go full time and do this. I was talking to a manager of mine at the time and saying, I want to look into training to do movie trailers. And he's just kind of like, you can do that, but, it's a very small boys club of people who get to do movie trailers. And, it's like a handful of people. And, I really wouldn't waste my money and time. And I'm like, no, cool. I'm going to get trained now. And when they're ready for a badass woman, I'll be there, So, yeah. I started training, and now I've started doing some movie trailers and stuff. So, you got to get ready to be ready, right? Or stay ready to be ready, whatever the saying is.
Definitely. And highly recommend just researching and doing the best and taking classes, just looking more into it, not just for acting or this in general, but just anything you're passionate and are really passionate about, is to know the most about it, to be able to produce the best product and the best results, and to get people to look and pay attention to your work. It's important to know and research, and also it's just fun to learn. It's just
absolutely
it's cool to look at things in a new way.
Totally.
You've had an amazing career, and I want to dive more into that extensive resume you got going on now with the first Mortal Kombat, and you played the character of Sindel in that game. Such a cool character, really cool. I love her moveset. I always play as the character. I used to spam my little brother in the game and use to shriek and stab and just repeat the same moves over and over again, because when it comes to them fighting games, I'm not losing. Listen, I will repeat that X, that O combo, that spin move, that fatality, that X play. I'm going in.
Oh, yeah.
With Sindel, it was just really cool to play as that character. And I've always been a fan of the character, too, especially since Mortal Kombat 9, and just her powers are just really cool. It reminds me a lot of Black Canary, which is another DC character that I'm a fan of. So I love that character, Sindel. So, but were you an MK fan yourself before voicing Sindel?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even want to admit how long I've been an MK fan. Like since back in the day, since like the first game, the first movie. Like, I love Mortal Kombat. Like, I used to keep the theme song from the Mortal Kombat movie, from the Immortals. Mortal Kombat! I used to keep that on a loop on my Scout playlist. Like, so it's surreal to me that I'm even a part of that franchise now. Like, it's like head exploded, dream come true. So cool.
I'm so happy for you, especially someone who is a fellow Mortal Kombat fan. I love the movies. Even though the first one is cheesy, it's my brand of cheesy. I'm going to take it. I'm going to eat the cheese. I'm going to put it on my burger. I'm going to take it because I love. That's how much of an MK fan I am. I mean, I have multiple of the games on the PlayStations and the Xboxes, and I just love this franchise so much. Mortal Kombat 11 was so good. It just like graphically too. That's one thing I've always loved too. Is just like comparing, because I went back and played Mortal Kombat 9 and playing as Sindel in that one, and seeing the transition into Mortal Kombat 11 and seeing the differences not only from a move set but like graphically. It's just so crazy to see where the video gaming industry or even movies too now. Shoot, we're seeing CGI just to see it progress is just so freaking cool to me. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, video games look better than some movies now. It's just creepy.
Get into it.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how the technology has just advanced. Like it's so cool to be a part of this world. Yeah.
And it's only going to continue to get big. You know, of course, with the VR thing, is only in its infancy. I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years now? Like, your whole world is going to turn into that. You might not even need the whole goggle set anymore.
I know.
Right.
It's coming. It's coming fast. Yeah. Every new iteration of a game, you know, when the devs will show me what's coming next, I'm just like, good God. Like, the line between reality and simulation is very thin. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly. I just saw a new clip for the game called The Quarry, I think it's called. It's a really big game that came out, and I saw how Ted Raimi, one of the actors in the game, looks. I'm just like, what the heck? Are you serious? That's so cool to see how it looks just like them, and to even hear how mocap is progressing too. Like, you guys don't even need the dots anymore. You know, it's just where they scan you now. Like, that's just so freaking cool to me. I love that.
I know.
Love hearing about the gaming process. Another thing, speaking of processes, I'm interested what helped you the most in creating Sindel's voice, and on top of that, does that help you create voices for other characters as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tricky. You know, Sindel was one of the first characters. I don't think the first. Because I've done characters like Ilaria Windrunner and Worlds of Warcraft and stuff that already existed. But Sindel, I mean, was definitely the biggest pre-existing character in one of the biggest. I mean, I think Mortal Kombat is like the longest. I think next to Mario, like, Mortal Kombat's like the longest running franchise in video game history. So, you know, no pressure. So because there was a precedent there, you know, Kelly Hu, Lonnie Manella, and other, you know, just amazing actresses who made Sindel so wonderful. I definitely did my homework to kind of see how Sindel had been iterated before. But I also, you know, knew that I had to bring my own flavor to it. And so, you know, you just kind of get a feel for each character's personality, you know, and Sindel, there's a regalness about her, you know, no matter what parallel universe she's in, you know, she's a protective mother, she's queenly, she can be pretty dark and dirty when she needs to, but she can also be very fair. And so I just kept all of those qualities in mind and the previous iterations of the voice. And then I just kind of did my thing and let her come through the way that I felt she should come through.
But you, Nightwolf, you get the privilege of suffering most. Only the best will do for the man who killed me.
That's just kind of my process. It's not super complicated.
That's always an interesting balance to hear when creating a character's voice, especially a pre-established one, is to go back and hear what others before you have done and honoring that, but also being like, you know, no, I'm Sindel now. This is my take, while also trying to honor what came before you for a lot of the fans who are used to maybe a certain special someone's take on the character. But I just love how everyone has their own unique take on it. I especially love yours too. Just so cool. Fantastic job with that. Oh no, it's just did really great with that character, and like I said, you really enhanced the evilness and the sort of seduction of the character, and I just really thought that was pretty cool. Like I said, huge fan of that character. In your opinion, what's the coolest characteristic about Sindel's character? And to add on to that, what's the coolest thing they gave you to do with her?
I mean, the coolest thing about Sindel is her. I mean, she's just an all around badass. I mean, come on. I mean, just what she does with her hair is just unreal, you know. But yeah, I just like her regal power. It's just I love that about her. Like I said, she is a queen personified. You know, you don't want to mess with Sindel. And she's pretty threatening to most of the other characters, you know, and what I love the most about getting to do is that I got to do the screams. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. So that was super cool to hear, you know, some of what I was able to contribute. Because when the time came, I was like, she's got this banshee sort of quality, and I kind of wanted to give her my own thing, but I was trying to figure out what to do. And yeah, you know, I think I did sort of this reverse, like, let me see if I can do it right now. Like, I did that along with another scream, and I think they kind of made a hybrid with that, and it gave her this, like, shrieky banshee sort of thing that, like, gives her this eerie sort of, I don't know. I love it, though. I love the way it turned out.
That is so cool that you got to do the scream, though. That's really cool.
I honestly didn't think I was going to get to do the scream. I figured, oh, they've got that set, and they're going to kind of keep that, but we kind of did everything fresh, so that was super exciting.
Yeah, because I know with a lot of these MK characters, they have, like, iconic, you know, like, phrases, or, like, Liu Kang is like, however you say it, or, you know, but it's really cool. I've spoken to other MK actors who've done, like, Liu Kang, and they're like, yo, I got to do the bicycle kick sound, and I'm like, really? That's so cool. Because I thought they would have changed it up or anything. That's awesome. I'm glad you got to do that. Mortal Kombat is a huge franchise, but another cool franchise that you're a part of is Destiny, where you get to play the role of Ikora. Really cool job that you did there. I know I have a ton of friends of mine who are big Destiny fans.
Yeah.
I know there was someone who came before you, and this was sort of like a voice match type of deal for Destiny too.
This was also sort of similar. You know, it was kind of like trying to honor the previous character, but yet kind of put my own touch on it. So it was kind of very similar to the Sindel situation where, yeah, I came in and was just like, okay, let me kind of lock into the essence of Ikora and who she is, but also, you know, I can't be a carbon copy of what was done before. So yeah, bring a little of my own interpretation to it. So I've been doing the best I can. The fans have been absolutely amazing. I was really terrified about taking that on, but the fans have been so embracing, like even more than I can imagine. So it's been super exciting to join the Bungie team.
That's awesome. But, you know, when it comes to stuff like that or just previous actors, I'm curious, though, even though it wasn't a situation like this per se, I'm curious, what are some pressures and expectations that come with doing sort of voice matching work?
Well, voice matching work, I mean, there's just different ways that it can be applied. Like, you'd be surprised, a lot of the movie trailers that you watch, you're not hearing the actual actor. A lot of people don't know that because movie trailers move so quickly. A lot of times the footage that they want to use, you know, the audio wasn't in the best quality or whatever, and they need to get the actor back in the studio to do some pickups and ADR. And they just don't have the time. And so more often than not, they're calling on sound-alike people like us. You know, hey, can you sound like this? Can you sound like that? And so, yeah, really the pressure is trying to match. I mean, there's so many things you have to have in mind. You have to match. First of all, it's not easy because a lot of times producers seem to think that voice talent are psychic. They will send us a snippet of maybe sometimes a second of audio, 2 seconds of audio. And a lot of times it's not even a similar scene to what we have to match on screen. So I recently had a situation where I did about 4 callbacks to match a celebrity in a trailer. And they were like, oh, you know, she's going to be giving a speech and this and that or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, could I see a clip of the trailer? And they're like, well, it hasn't been released yet, so we can't give it to you. And I'm like, well, I know it hasn't been released yet, but I can't really match anything if I can't hear it or see it. So, you know, oftentimes they'll give you a clip. And so, I mean, I've literally gotten clips where the actor's whispering, but they want me to do something where they're yelling. And they seem to think, oh, if the actor can just hear a couple of microseconds of this voice, we know how to translate to how they sound completely different in a completely different environment, which of course is not true. So that's one of the biggest challenges of it, is that people think we're psychic and that we can just figure that out. Also, you know, matching the age, you know, sometimes we're having to match somebody decades older or younger than us. And so that requires not only adjusting the pitch of your voice, but also your energy level. You know, is the character sitting or standing? You know, like we are a wind instrument, and you know, you're trying to match how you're playing that instrument. So you have to, if you can get footage of the actual actor in action, that's the best thing, because you can see them in motion. How are they standing? How are they holding their body? How are they moving their instrument? And so that's layer one, is getting all that matched. But then you have to actually act. And sometimes it's really hard to, you get so focused on like getting every phrase to sound just like them that now you sound robotic. You sound like them, but you don't sound like you're acting. So there's just a lot of steps and sweep throughs that you have to do to kind of go, okay, all right, I got this part down. I got this part down. We've got the voice match. Now let's actually bring it to life. So there's a lot of elements to it other than like, I can, you know, make funny voices. So it can be tough.
That's one misconception a lot of people have about voice acting that's just really bothering me, especially getting to speak to so many of you guys who just do this great work. You know, I've always heard people be like, oh, you have a great voice, do voice acting, or I can do this and do that. And it's like, y'all don't understand. Y'all really don't. Y'all don't get it. Y'all think it's easy when it's really not. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of time that goes into it. There's a lot of dedication that goes into it. And for people to see voice acting as a lesser form of acting or something that's just like easy money is so asinine and annoying. Personally, it's just like, and I know for voice actors, you know, yourself, you must be a little bit be like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. But I will respond to someone on Twitter being like, oh, you no, I can't let them know. I can't let them see that side of me. Let me tell you.
I totally get, it doesn't make me mad. I know some actors that get them very upset, but I totally get why some people would think that, because it's our job to make it look easy. You know, but people don't understand this took years and years and years of practice and training and 10,000 plus hours of immersing ourselves in this world in one way or the other, whether that was studying people and mimicking them, or, you know, training our ear to have a more musical ear, or, you know, acting classes and voice acting classes, which are completely different. And, you know, it takes a long time to become an overnight success at this. And while you may be a natural mimic, that doesn't mean that you can act, because acting is a completely different skill from sounding like something. And sadly, a lot of times the people who perpetuate this sort of myth about it being easy tend to be on-camera actors who are just hired to be them. Like, I know Chris Rock got in a lot of trouble years ago. I think he said for Madagascar, like, I just show up and make $1 million and it's great. And it's just like, yeah, well, because you're Chris Rock. All you have to do is sound like Chris Rock. And if there's something you're not doing right, they will walk you through it. And you just mimic them and you go home. For us, the demands and the pay is much lower and the demands are much higher. So it's not the same at all. And, you know, many on-camera celebrities have also said it, and even non-celebrities, you know, people have said, no, voice acting is actually one of the hardest forms of acting there is, because there is no, getting the full script, you know, weeks in advance so you can figure out what your motivation is and read everybody else's lines and get the context of the entire story and just sit with this one piece and absorb it. And like, we're busy doing a million things at once. I mean, in the course of a day, I can be 12 different people, from doing the news to doing animation auditions, to doing video games, to doing, you know, telephony work, to doing industrial narrations or TV narrations. Like, I'm all over the place with who I am, and we have to do it quickly and get in and out of all these different characters. And 9 times out of 10, especially like a video game, you don't even see the copy until you walk in the door. You have no time to prep. You don't know you don't know what game you're auditioning for or that you booked. You don't know, who the developer is sometimes. You don't know much of anything until they go, all right, let's sit down with the director for about 5-10 minutes. We're going to tell you really quick how it goes. We're going to get you in the booth. We're going to just give you the lines by yourself and go. And you got to quickly go from emotion to emotion and context to context. Like I had a game once, I think it was Far Cry 5 or something like that, or Far Cry New Dawn. And the way that the spreadsheet had been put out, the lines were out of order. And so I played this character who had basically been captured as a hostage. But the scenes were out of order to where one line would be while I was captured and I was terrified. And then the next line would be scenes later where I was released. And so my attitude was completely different. So I literally had to go in between like, I'm so scared, I'm terrified, to talking like this and confident. I'm so scared. And I mean, you had to be psychotic, like to do that, But I was like, can't we just sort this differently on the spreadsheet? But we did. And so I kept going in and out, in and out. And that's the sort of skill you have to have. And just quickly, the director's like, okay, you're being chased by a bear, who is owned by your best friend, and you feel like this, and blah, blah, and you have to bring all these layers of emotions in seconds, and it has to be believable. And then on to the next one for thousands of lines. So yeah, it's not just jumping out in your jammies and having some fun, it is a blast. It's one of the coolest jobs in the world. I always say my worst day on this job will still beat my best day in the corporate world. This is like the best job in the world, but doesn't mean it's super easy.
Definitely, all jobs come with their fair share of difficulties, and that is a narrative that by doing these, I hope that people can put that to rest, or like hear other voice actors speak about it and be like, damn, that sounds like a lot. Because just hearing you talk about that is making my head spin. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's just scratching the surface. That's just scratching the surface. Yeah, I'm still obsessed with the industry to this day. I mean, to this day, I've been doing this full time now. I've been doing this a lot longer, but I've been doing this full time when I decided, like, this is what I'm going to do for a living since '08. And here we are in 2022, and I'm still listening to podcasts and constantly going to workshops and training. Like, you always have to be on your game, just like Michael Jordan. The best of the best are still, you got to stay sharp. This is not I just have this natural God-given talent, let me just walk through the door and blow everybody's mind. That may get you so far, but it won't last.
Absolutely. Damn. Put them. Gotta let them know. Gotta let them know. But to go back real quick, just to wrap up the section about Destiny, what have you enjoyed the most about what they've done, like what you've played with Ikora?
Just the fact that Ikora has a presence again. Her fans have been kind of waiting with bated breath for quite some time, just because for the past several years, we didn't really see a lot of opportunity for Ikora to really shine. She was kind of lost in the background for a little bit. So with the new season with the Witch Queen and such, it's just been like, she's full center stage right now, which is totally freaking awesome. And I've got no complaints about that.
That's awesome. So excited to see what else they choose to do with this character, because they're still updating Destiny 2 to this day. And,
oh yeah.
And it's still coming out, and a lot of content's coming out. So it's really cool that this game has still got legs and it's still got a lot to show for it. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Destiny is a huge first-person shooter game, but another big FPS we've been a part of is Call of Duty as Zeyna, one of the operators. I'm saying that right? It's Zeyna, right?
Zeyna, yes. I don't know, and I'll tell you what, I've heard two different ways, and I want to say even one of the writers / directors said Zeyna. So it may be Zeyna, but I'm almost positive it's Zeyna. Yeah.
And Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and War is on a cool character. Even it's apart. I can't speak today. Jeez.
Same.
The whole StreamYard situation got me messed up in the head. Jeez.
I know. We're ready for the weekend, man. Ready for the holiday.
Listen, I'm about to watch Stranger Things. Call it a day. Leave it alone. Yeah. But you've been a part of so many first-person shooter games. Of course, you've been a part of Halo Infinite and that game, and then Far Cry. You've been a part of massive Fallout 76, massive franchises. What have you enjoyed about your experiences on first-person shooters, and how do they differ from other types of games in terms of recording?
I would say in general, it's not a hard and fast rule, but a lot of times with first person shooters, you don't have as much dialogue, with other people. It's really just kind of like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm over here, I'm doing call outs over comms. So Fallout 76, Wastelanders was super cool with Meg Groberg as the leader of the Raiders, because she just had a lot more dialogue with the main player. So that was really, really nice, because you don't get a lot of that with first person shooters. It's more just kind of like, to the point, I'm the character, I'm doing this thing. So I personally am a fan of anything that gives me an opportunity to dive into conversation and just let things get juicy and really flesh out who this character is. So I would say that's the biggest difference right off the bat that I could think of between first person shooters and just a lot of other style games.
Got you. Yeah, but I hear a lot of times you guys are doing a lot of screaming, like you said, a lot of call out over comms. Games are like very vocal intensive. You guys are ripping your vocal cords out, especially when playing certain characters. I know a lot of the times you guys will save the screaming and shouting to the very end of the recording to keep your voice in shape, which is very, very, very great. Very good.
Very much.
Very, very smart of y'all. What's your favorite line as the character in Call of Duty?
Zeyna. I think my favorite is sorry to anybody French listening, because this is a bad word, but hey Ducon, I'm on your team. That's all I can think of on the top of my head. I won't tell you what Ducon means if you don't know, but you can Google it.
So cool. Oh, I love that. I love that vocal choice that you picked for that character. So cool. And that's another cool character in the Call of Duty lore that they're adding. They're adding a ton of these characters, especially with the battle passes and stuff. They're adding a ton of these characters for the Warzone maps, and there's a lot of opportunities coming out for these games. Hope to hear you back in Call of Duty sometime soon with all the stuff coming out. Modern Warfare's just around the corner, so let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Call of Duty is a massive franchise, but another massive franchise, I've been a part of so many, is the Marvel Universe. And of course, you take on the role of Storm, Ororo, Monroe in Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3. Are you a fan of the X-Men? And if you are, what's your favorite thing about the group?
Dude, I am such a fan of X-Men. Like, X-Men was my first introduction to comic books. Like, I remember being in high school, and my best friend at the time, he was just like, do you know about the X-Men? And I'm just like, what are you talking about? He's just like, he's like, you would love Storm. And I'm just like, what? And to see a superhero of color, like, that wasn't a common thing. It's like it's now becoming a common thing in the past few years, but you have to understand, like, for most of us growing up, we didn't have that to look forward to, and you don't even realize sometimes that you don't have it because you're so used to not having it. And it was just like, oh wait, we can do that. Oh my God, like, she's a superhero. So I loved it. And it's like, when I was a kid, like, I used to go in the woods all the time, and I would talk to the trees. I've always had a really tight bond with the trees. And I've always said that, like, trees speak through the winds, and that you can talk to them and you'll feel a breeze, like, accordingly when you talk to the trees. And so I just thought it was so perfect that she controls the weather and the winds and things like that. And, fast forward to a gazillion years later, when I have the opportunity to actually play her, like, pinch me now. I had no idea that was going to ever be a possibility.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you're getting to play the character that you were fresh introduced. That is so cool.
I know, like, your head could explode, you know what I mean? And also, like, Gambit, like, he was a Cajun from Louisiana. I grew up in Louisiana, so, like, it was so surreal. The X-Men were awesome. They were literally my first loves, you know, when I got introduced to comic books. So yeah, I was an X-Men fan.
Best superhero team. I don't care what anyone says. X-Men's the best. They have the most widest range of characters, from Cyclops to Wolverine to Jubilee to. I love the X-Men so much.
Oh yeah.
Kind of the movies haven't done them as well as I wanted them to. That's a conversation for another day, though. Let's get back to the awesome character that is Storm. You know, to just talk about, you know, a person of color superhero. You know, one person I got to thank one day is, you know, Phil Lamar for all those characters he's played in. You know, from Jon Stewart to Static Shock, and just bringing these black superheroes to the mainstay and push them in people's minds. That's beautiful. And one person that deserves respect from everyone. Got to give it to Phil Lamar, man.
Big time.
Yeah. What about Storm do you believe is the most integral to her character?
To me, Storm is always a character of nobility. You know, she doesn't use her power lightly. You know, she's never a show off. She's never unhinged. You know, when she takes action, it's because she had to. And she almost kind of stands in the wings, because she literally, I believe she is the most powerful character in the MCU. I could be wrong. There may be one character who's more powerful than her, but she's up there like in the top 3 of the most powerful. And a lot of people don't know that. So she reserves her power for when she absolutely needs to use it, because she's unleashing a lot. So you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and I think she does a good job of balancing that, you know.
Definitely. Storm is one of my favorite characters. You did a great job playing the character.
Thank you.
Really hope to hear you come back as Storm in like a big X-Men game one day. You know, I'm so glad that the X-Men are nowadays getting more attention, especially in the comic book realm. And then we're hearing that the Wolverine game by Insomniac is coming out. So maybe they can bring you back as Storm. I don't know.
It could happen.
Cameo, but I mean, no, I love your version of that character, so I'd love to hear.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, of course. Big thing that came up recently is, of course, Arcane. Got a great role of Shoola and Jules, one of the robbers. What a great show. Beautifully animated, beautifully told, amazing voice actors. Shout out to my friend Jason Spizak as Silco. What a great villain. So much JB Blanc as Venda. So much greatness in that show. But you know, this is not your first time into the world of League of Legends. Of course, you were there as the voice of Evelyn in 2017, correct?
Well, here's the thing. I actually booked Arcane first. Arcane just took a long time to come out. I mean, they were working on Arcane since 2014, I believe.
What?
Yeah, I basically, Arcane is the reason I moved to Los Angeles. I was living in Colorado at the time with my amazing partner, Jordan Reynolds. We were both happily living in Colorado. Like, we're like, we don't need to move to the big city and spend all this money on rent and traffic and they're a bunch of idiots. So we were just chilling. And my agent at the time, I thought I was auditioning for a video game. I saw that it was like League of Legends related. So I thought, you know, because at the time, Riot only did League of Legends. That was it. They did nothing else. So I was like, oh, it's League of Legends. Okay, cool. And it wasn't until I booked it that I realized it was a TV show. And I was like, oh, wait. So I flew in from Colorado to LA to do the table read the first time with all of the amazing cast members. And I remember I just walked into the room and I saw who was at the table. And I'm just like, I think somebody made a mistake. Because I was like, I don't know if I'm at this level yet. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, these are like the pro, you know, voice actors. Like, I'm sitting next to Fred Tatasciore and JB Blanc and, you know, all kind. And I'm just like, what the hell, you know? So, yeah, mind blown. So that was back in 2016 in the, I want to say the fall or winter. And then by spring of 2017, we moved to LA. And I didn't get Evelyn until I think later that year. So I actually got Arcane first.
That is so cool. Jesus. That just shows y'all how much it takes to get a lot of this stuff out. I mean, definitely is worth it for Arcane to have taken that long. Like I said, that animation.
That's why. Fortiche, oh my God, like you've never seen animation like this. Like, I mean, they just hand draw. I mean, I think I overheard, I was talking to one of the illustrators at an Arcane event, and I think he said it was a good day if they could get, was it 2 frames or 2 seconds worth of something drawn in the whole day. It might have been a quarter of a second. Like, it was ridiculously slow how long this takes. So we've already got, you know, it's green lit for season 2. You know, I'm sure you've seen that was all in the news. And I'm just going, how long is that going to take to keep the quality?
So
good. Yeah.
Oh, you're not getting that show until 2030, y'all. Wrap it up. We're not getting that show until 2030.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go play League of Legends for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But it'll be worth the wait, obviously. But yeah, it's like the love and care. Like, I remember just Jules. I mean, you saw Jules was on the screen for a total of maybe 5 minutes, if that. And it took forever just to get. I remember being at Riot one day, and a bunch of artists had come in, and they had like 20 different options just for her bangs, like her hair. They were like, oh, should they be spiky? Should they be this? And I'm like, y'all put this kind of care in these little side cares. I was like, oh my God. Like, but it was so, like, when you watch, you get it. Like, you totally get it. It's like, there's a lot of love put into this show. There's nothing else like it on TV.
Oh, absolutely. And that can lead into this question, you know, what were your first impressions of Arcane? And did you ever think it would be as big as it is now?
No, I mean, look, I knew when I heard that Riot was going to be doing TV, I was like, absolutely sign me up. This is going to be big. Did I know it was going to be like this? No. I mean, it literally has, I mean, the ratings are like through the roof. It's like 99% love everywhere, if not 100%. You know, it's like broken all these records with Netflix. I mean, it beat out Stranger Things and something else in popularity. I think Squid Game, Stranger Things, like, people are loving it and watching it, and new fans are signing on all the time. And so many people who didn't know that they could enjoy it because they're like, I don't play League of Legends. And I tell people, like, you don't have to, just watch.
Nope.
You know, and that's what's so amazing, because, you know, the intention of the show was not designed for just anybody. It really was a love letter to League of Legends fans, but they did it so brilliantly, and the writing is just so good. It's just such a beautiful, universally told story. You really don't have to be a fan, but that was really who they were aiming toward, is like, they wanted to say a thank you to the fans and just really dive into these characters. But that's what happens when you put out such a good product. I mean, just everybody's catching on and just like, oh my God, this is the best show ever. So I knew it would be big, but no, not this big.
Seeing all the amazing cosplays and the fan art. I always love the fan art for these shows, and just to see people add their own renditions to this, and to just show you guys love, and just to see. I was at a convention a couple of weeks ago, DragonCon. Not DragonCon. Was it DragonCon? No, DragonCon. This was MomoCon. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up because there's big ones in Atlanta. It's MomoCon and DragonCon are the 2 biggest ones. But I was at MomoCon. Fred was there, you know, Jason Marsden, Phil Lamar, Corey Payne was there. And I just saw so many Jinxes and Arcane characters. I was like, yeah, this show just came out like, what, just a few months ago, and y'all going this?
Oh, yeah. People are going hard. Like, the storylines just get you right away. It's just so well told. So good. I mean, I think it was like by episode 2 or 3, I'm just like... just sobbing. I'm like, I don't know much about these characters. This is amazing, you know? Yeah, it was so good.
I especially love how they've drawn the black characters in the show, and just how realistic and cool they look. And let's dive more into Shoola. I love how she looks, and with the cog thing around your neck. I'm like, okay, yeah,
so cool. I love her.
Oh, yes. And you obviously, with all these characters we've talked about, another one that's, you know, you've done is one for the books again, and really added a lot of personality and dimension to this character. And, of course, credits to the writing too. But,
Yeah.
you've done a phenomenal job with this character as well. To bring
Thank
this
you.
character to life. I mean, of course, y'all have spent, like you said, it's 2015. Y'all have spent a good amount of time on this character.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy about Shula's role on the council?
What I like about Shoola is she's kind of the rock, while everybody else, you'll find kind of sways kind of really hard one way or the other. Shoola is kind of the voice of reason. And she's kind of very good at grounding the group and kind of keeping everybody on a neutral track to make a decision, which is what you want in a council member. So yeah, Shoola is to me very trustworthy and very fair, and she's kind of the voice of reason when things get chaotic.
That's why that's my girl. That's my girl. That's my girl. Yeah, that's one of my favorites on the council. The other one is the guy with the mask that's played by JP Blanc. It's the I forgot the character's name. Shula's the only one that matters. It doesn't matter what the character's name is. Such a cool character, and man, that finale though.
I know.
Finale. Oof.
I know. I was like, what happened?
Kill my girl Sheila or I'm losing it. Somebody gotta go. But that was such a crazy way to end the show, man.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have to wait so much for the season 2 because I want to know now.
I know.
To know now.
I know.
But what are some hopes you have for the season 2 of Arcane and just the universe in general? Is there anything you hope to see? Anything you want to see explored or anything?
I think it would be cool, to eventually see maybe some other characters from some of the other worlds of League of Legends start to creep in, maybe some others that I'm familiar with now. But number one, obviously, we hope Shoola comes back. Okay, that's prayer number one. Let's hope that Shoola comes back.
Come on now, come on.
That's the biggest concern once that's out of the way. I would say I really would like to see, we obviously saw a ton of Jinx's story in this first season. So I feel like it would only make sense next season to look more into Vi. I really want to know, she's so guarded, literally, she's got the fists up and she's such an equal counterpart to Jinx's story. I would love to kind of see what's behind her armor. We have little hints here and there that have been sprinkled through the story, but I would love to see more of that. And yeah, I think just more characters introduced from the League world.
Evelyn in here, Evelyn.
Yeah, Evelyn.
Yeah, this universe is so huge. League of Legends is such a big game, so there's definitely a lot more that they could do with this show. But I'm needing to hurry up or something because I'm not. Listen, if I have to wait 10 years between each season, I don't think.
Oh, you'll wait, but yeah, let's hope we don't have to.
Right. I'm so glad that you guys have created this that is leaving a mark on so many people, especially on me. It's just such a beautiful story that you guys have told. And I'm so proud to be able to speak to someone a part of this and just, just to see some of my friends in the show too and just see the love that they're getting and that they deserve so much. It's really awesome to see you guys get this. So it's very heartwarming. Very heartwarming. Thank
you. Hats off to just the amazing team at Riot and Fortiche. My God, just such a phenomenal team of people. Like just the work and passion and love and dedication. It's just undeniable in the product. So to get to be even a tiny cog in that big wheel is just one of the biggest honors. So cool.
Well, now I want to transition into the fun parts of my interviews. We're Wacky. We have 1 minute to answer a series of weird and random questions. No one has beaten a record of 16 questions, although the current championship title holder is voice actor David Boat with a record of 15 questions answered. Do you think you could beat him?
I don't think I'm going to beat that, but let's see what happens.
All right, I'm about to pull the timer up on the computer. Which
I suck at like hot questions, but okay, let's do it.
Luckily, I'm not doing it, so yeah. About to start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Favorite brand of shoes?
Fry boots.
TV show that's had the biggest effect on you.
Right now, Boss Baby Back in the Crib.
Your spirit animal.
Cat.
Favorite album cover.
Oh God, probably anything by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Favorite genre of music.
Oh God, everything. Jazz.
Dumbest thing you've done as a kid.
Work for the man. No, I wasn't a kid. Whatever. Yeah.
Movie that you watched repeatedly throughout your life, that you could watch over and over again.
Aliens, Clue, Terminator 2, Labyrinth, Money Pit. Next.
Actor you wish to work with one day.
Oh God. Octavia Spencer.
One thing you cannot live without. Time.
My phone.
What's that again?
My phone.
Listen, hey, that's all of us, to be honest.
I know. And I hate admitting that. That's why I was like, no, you got to think of something that's not your phone. It's too obvious.
Well, Mara, this has been a phenomenal conversation with you. It's been such an honor and a privilege to be able to speak to you today. Thank you so much. I hope I've made it an enjoyable experience for you today. But
you absolutely have, Joshua. Thank you.
My final question to you is a little bit more and more serious, and I love to end off all of my interviews with this question. What is your current message to the world during these times that we live in? Obviously, there's a lot going on, especially in the U.S. and just around the world. There's just so much chaos and just so much happening. What, if you were given a mic, what would you say to people around the world?
I would say that there's a lot of noise. There's more noise in the world right now than we've ever had. I mean, technology, we are in the information age where, in the course of 5 seconds, anything is available to us in nanoseconds. I mean, like, we're inundated with ads. I think they said, in the course of a day, you see, I don't know, is it 50,000 ads, between like logos on your shirt to everything that's, on every product in the room around you and on your jacket and on the walls and then banners and billboards. Like, we are flooded with other people trying to tell us what to do and where to go and how to think. The media, the algorithms, with social media are programmed to like, oh, you like this? And here's more of that. You need to think more like this. Or here's people who think like you. And it can really create a false sense of reality and what's going on. So I would say, deep inside all of us, we have an inner compass, a GPS, our intuition. And that is what we are ultimately supposed to be listening to above all of this other noise. Like, we are here to bring our specific stamp to the world, not to be a sound-alike for somebody else, not to just mimic what everybody else before you has done, because that's the way it's always been done. And you don't really know why, but some guy somewhere said that this is how we do it. We are supposed to listen to that inner GPS. And it's okay to step away from all this noise and tune in to that inner knowledge that you have. Call it your intuition, call it God, call it the universe, whatever it is out there. There's a higher wisdom that you have access to. So tune into that whenever all this stuff gets crazy, because it will steer you back in the right direction, and it will show you what you need to bring to the table in the midst of all this crazy, because you are a part of the solution to getting all this crazy fixed, whether you know it yet or not. You don't know how, you don't know what, but just keep following that inner compass. And one day you're going to wake up and go, holy crap, like what I was doing 10 years ago, all that crap I hated, or this that I thought was meaningless, I just kind of like Forrest Gump. I just said yes, and I just followed the path, and it brought me to all these amazing things. And I'm living proof that that can happen, but it takes belief in yourself, and it takes tuning out all this other crap, because trust me, the majority of it is crap. So trust your own voice. Use your own voice, and it will take you places you never imagined.
Can I add on to any of that? Can I? Or did she just drop the mic on us? Did she just drop the mic and said, none of y'all is speaking? It's done. I said my piece. It's
mic
done.
Drop.
But no, that's a beautiful message, and I definitely agree with that. There's just so much, and even though you were embarrassed to admit that you can't live without your phone, it's true that we just need to take a break sometimes, man, and get in tune to our roots and to who we truly are. And like you said, whatever you want to call it, getting in tune with that truer version of yourself, that true inner being of goodness and light and hope, because it's not as dark as it seems. I know a lot of stuff right now, especially with this stupid, I gotta get a little mad, a stupid ass Supreme Court decision to revoke Roe. It seems so dark right now, but don't fall into that pit of despair. There's always better days. We're gonna find a way out of this. There's always that light and hope. And I know it's easier to fall into that pit of despair, but don't, because we're gonna come out of this, and we're gonna come out of this better and stronger. Just keep standing up for one another. Keep showing each other love. Keep being there for one another, because it's very important, especially in times like this, to let people know that, hey, I'm here. I hear you. I'm going to stand up for you, because it's mad important, especially during times like this. So that's from me and Mary, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening. Mary, is there anything you want to plug or promote before we head off?
Oh, God, no. Just follow me here on Instagram. I'll be posting silly randomness whenever I have the energy to. And yeah, stay tuned. There's some cool things in the works.
That new Green Lantern movie that's coming out that you're in, Green Lantern Beware.
Yeah, that's going to be dropping, I think, next week on the 7th, I believe. July 7th, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's the 27th.
Yeah, I think it's the 27th, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Don't get trouble. Okay, 3 more weeks. It's coming.
I'm so excited for that. That animation,
Me too.
that looks great too. Oh, I'm so excited. You got the man who's playing. Oh, I don't know how to say his name. I'm sucking at pronouncing names. So sorry if he's watching this at some point. But the man who's playing Hawkman in the new Black Adam movie, they got to do Jon Stewart for that. I'm so excited to hear his take on that character. And
super talented. It's gonna be awesome.
So hyped. Before we leave,
yeah,
I get a shout out in the voice of Storm.
Oh God, yes. Let's see. What do you want me to say?
Just something like stay tuned, or just a nice little note, something like that.
What's the name of the show?
Jantmor. Just say Jantmor. You can say Jantmor interviews. Jantmor interviews, yeah.
Stay tuned to Jantmor interviews for more fantastic awesomeness.
We're out here, baby. We're done. That's a wrap. That's it. Thank y'all so much for joining. Mary, I'm so proud of you. Continue to be an example. Continue to be a light for so many people in this industry. And I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you so much. Have a great one. And stay in touch.
Thank you so much. Bye, you guys. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.